I am president of my country. We have our own rules here. I say we are sovereign. They should not interfere with our sovereignty. That is all.
Veteran leader Robert Mugabe has presided over Zimbabwe for over 3 decades. Born in 1924 in the village of Kutama, southwest of the capital Harare, he was educated by Jesuits and went on to become a leader before joining the liberation struggle against British rule. Mugabe graduated from Khartoum's St. Francis Xavier College in 1945. For the next 15 years, he taught in Rhodesia and Ghana and pursued further education at Fort Hare University in South Africa. In Ghana, he met and married his first wife, Sally Hayfron. He became a key figure in the fight for independence from white minority rule as leader of the Zimbabwe African National Union and spent 11 years in prison before becoming Zimbabwe's first post-independence prime minister in 1980. He was a key figure in the struggle for independence, which involved a bitter bush war against a white minority which had cut the country loose from the colonial power Britain. When he was first elected in 1980, he was praised for reaching out to the white minority and his political rivals, as well as for what was considered a pragmatic approach to the economy. However, he soon expelled from his government of national unity the party whose stronghold was in the south of the country and launched an anti-opposition campaign in which thousands died. In the mid-1990s, he embarked on a program of land redistribution in which commercial farmers were driven off the land by mobs. The program was accompanied by a steady decline in the economy. As the opposition to his rule increased, he and his ruling ZANU-PF party grew more determined to stay in power. Critics accused him of heading a military regime. In the elections of 2008, ZANU-PF lost its parliamentary majority and opposition leader Morgan Tsvangirai defeated Mr. Mugabe in the presidential vote, but with insufficient votes to avoid a runoff. Mr. Mugabe was sworn in for another term in June 2008 after a widely condemned runoff vote from which Mr. Tsvangirai withdrew, citing attacks on his supporters. Under international pressure, Mr. Mugabe agreed a power-sharing deal with Mr. Tsvangirai, who was made Prime Minister. However, Mr. Mugabe made no secret of his distaste for the arrangement, and Mr. Tsvangirai complained of lack of cooperation and the return of violence against his party supporters. After years of wrangling, the two parties in early 2013 agreed on a new constitution which was overwhelmingly approved at a referendum in March. In late 2014, the president fired Vice President Joyce Mujuru and 7 ministers, accusing them of being involved in a plot to kill him. Ms. Mujuru denied the allegation. But under Mugabe's rule, Zimbabwe suffered from sanctions, massive inflation and extreme poverty. Land reforms and black empowerment failed to deliver economic benefits. In 2000, he ordered the takeover of white-owned farms, leading to an economic collapse and hyperinflation at 250 million% by 2008. Unemployment hit 90%, while more than 80% of the population was living on just $2 per day. Conditions translated to long breadlines where supply was scarce. Mugabe will also be noted for his stance against homosexualism.
The doctrine, belief that man and man can marry, woman and woman can marry, that destroys nations, apart from it being a filthy disease.
In November 2017, Mugabe was ousted in a coup d'etat. These were the last known pictures of Mr. Mugabe. He is believed to have died in Singapore, where he had made frequent visits to receive medical care in recent months as his health deteriorated. For some, he was an icon of liberation, a Pan-Africanist who dedicated his life to the emancipation and empowerment of his people. To others, he will be remembered as a dictator.